Have you ever seen someone get laughed at, only to later realize they were the wisest person in the room? Stick around till the end of this story, it'll change how you look at people forever. And if you believe that respect should never depend on someone's job title, hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. It all started in a quiet corner of a massive corporate building, a place where success gleamed in every glass window, but humility was almost invisible. Every morning, before the rush of executives and interns, Tom, a middle-aged janitor, would mop the floors, wipe the tables, and greet everyone with a gentle smile. Few noticed him. Fewer still cared. Tom wasn't just a janitor, he was a single father, raising his teenage daughter, Emily, after losing his wife in a car accident 5 years ago. Life had stripped him of almost everything, except his dignity and the lessons he'd learned from running a small business that went bankrupt years before. He knew failure, pain, and struggle, but he also knew how to rebuild, step by step. One day, the company announced a business innovation challenge, inviting all employees to pitch ideas to help the company grow. The winner's idea would be funded and presented directly to the CEO, Mr. Raymond Pierce, a proud, sharp-tongued man known for his belief that only the educated elite could bring innovation. Tom overheard the younger employees talking about the challenge during his cleaning rounds. He paused for a moment, leaning on his mop, and said softly, "If I were you, I'd start with fixing your customer retention model. You're chasing new clients when you're losing the loyal ones quietly." The room fell silent. Then laughter erupted. One of the interns chuckled, "What do you know about business, old man? You clean toilets." Tom smiled faintly, not offended. "Sometimes, when you're at the bottom," he said calmly, "you see cracks the people at the top miss." That line lingered in the air for a moment, but the laughter continued, and he quietly walked away. Days later, the contest entries piled in, PowerPoint slides, charts, graphs, but most ideas felt hollow. The company's sales had been dropping for months, and the CEO was desperate for a breakthrough. The night before the final presentation, Tom stayed late cleaning the boardroom, where the meeting would take place. He saw the discarded reports in the trash and shook his head. He pulled out an old notepad from his cart and began sketching something. He couldn't help himself, his old business instincts kicked in. He outlined a new model focusing on customer trust, employee motivation, and ethical growth, something simple but real. The next morning, chaos broke out. The final presenter, one of the senior managers, had called in sick. The HR head, rushing to fill the slot, jokingly said, "Hey, Tom, you got a business plan too." Everyone laughed. But Tom, for reasons he couldn't explain, said quietly, "Actually, I do." The laughter died down again. Moments later, the CEO entered. "All right," Raymond said impatiently, "let's get this over with. Who's presenting next?" HR hesitated. Sir, our janitor would like to share something." Raymond raised an eyebrow. "You're kidding me, right?" But Tom stood tall. "Sir, I may not wear a suit," he said evenly, "but I do understand people. And that's what business really is, people." A few chuckles rippled through the room, but the CEO gestured. "Go on then, Mr. Janitor. Impress me." Tom walked to the whiteboard and began speaking, not like a man pitching for money, but like a man sharing wisdom earned through hardship. He talked about how he once owned a small family business that collapsed because he chased numbers, not relationships. He explained that this company was making the same mistake, focusing on expansion instead of retention. He pointed out that employees were disengaged because they didn't feel heard, and customers were leaving because they didn't feel valued. Then he said something that made even the CEO lean forward. "Sir," Tom said, his voice firm yet humble, "you don't grow a business by building walls of glass and steel. You grow it by building bridges of trust, between workers, leaders, and customers." The room went silent. Even the laughter from earlier seemed like a distant echo. The CEO, once rigid and dismissive, was suddenly still. He asked quietly, "Where did you learn all this?" Tom looked down at his hands, rough, calloused from years of labor. "From losing everything once," he replied. "Failure is the best business school, sir. It teaches you what pride never can." Raymond sat back in his chair, speechless. For the first time in years, someone had spoken to him without fear or flattery. Just truth. Later that week, Tom was called into the CEO's office. He thought he was about to be fired for overstepping. Instead, Raymond extended his hand and said, "Mr. Walker, I want you to join our business strategy team, officially." Tears welled in Tom's eyes. "I'm just a janitor," he whispered. "Not anymore," the CEO smiled. "You're the heart this company forgot it had." Months passed, and under Tom's human-centered approach, the company's profits soared. Employee satisfaction skyrocketed. Even the CEO changed. He started greeting staff by name and often quoted Tom's words in meetings. Tom's daughter Emily, once embarrassed by her father's janitor job, proudly told everyone, "My dad doesn't just clean offices, he cleans hearts too." And in the end, Tom stood before the whole company at the annual meeting, not as a janitor but as the director of employee relations. His final words that day echoed through every soul present. Respect every person, no matter their job or title. Because sometimes, the wisest voices come from the quietest corners. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the world needs more people like Tom. People who remind us that true success isn't about where you stand, it's about how you lift others.